Good afternoon, everyone. This is Stephanie Writings from Stephanie Seriously. I'm right here at home in Santa Rosa. I got my babies inside watching Little Mermaid, so I can run outside and talk to you guys really quick. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to my good friend Trisha Fretlin, who's at Trinity Day Spa. She's the one who hooked me up with my new hairdo. You like it? You like it? Thank you so much. I feel so light and free and so much better. On that note, now that I have cut off all my hair, if you have any recommendations for cute head wraps, really nice like chunky necklaces, like really I don't know, I don't want to say exotic, but I guess like just cool jewelry, big earrings. If you know anyone who, I do use Young Living makeup, so just any like makeup suggestions on how to like really make your makeup stand out when you have short hair, sunglasses, all these other things that with having short hair, accessorizing totally matters. So if you know someone who's selling cool jewelry or making cool jewelry or makes head wraps, things like that, I'm totally wanting to add that to my style. So if you know someone who does that, I would love to support them. Bonus points if they're a stay-at-home mom, because I am really big on wanting to support the fellow stay-at-home mom. So I wanted to start there, and then just gonna dive right into what I want to talk to you guys about. I want to talk to you guys about accountability. I know I started talking to you a little bit last week about accountability after a message that I heard from our brother Tim Bonington from Lighthouse Christian Church in Sonoma. I was really encouraged by his message, and I've been thinking a lot about it over the last couple of weeks. And I came to a realization today, this may not be new to you, but it was new to me, that accountability is not something that comes naturally. And this thought occurred to me while I was thinking about my own childhood. I was thinking about how, where for a lot of people this may be like a sensitive subject, but how I got spankings when I was little. And I remember being really young, maybe like Joseph's age, telling myself that I'm never gonna spank my kids. I can't believe that my dad would dare to spank me. I'm his precious little baby. How could he do something like that to me? And when I think about it now, I think about how that style of discipline really did shape the way that I thought, not just as an adult. Like, I think a lot of times as adults, we're able to like look back on things from our childhood, but I remember seeing the results of that form of discipline being evident in my life as a tween, as a teenager, and as a young adult. My friends will tell you, and in my group of friends, I was always the mom. I was the one who was always like super cautious. I was always saying like, well, what do you think our parents would think if we did this? So like all my other friends, they would probably want to like go off and sneak off and do things, but I never thought like that because I was too concerned about the consequences when I got home. And a lot of that stemmed from the way that discipline was dealt with in our family. And it made me realize that in those times when I made a poor choice and my dad chose to discipline me physically, it was shaping accountability for me. It was one thing that I didn't realize that that's what it was until I got older. And I remember a certain situation where I was in Bible college and I had gotten into trouble, and I was like, well, why should I get punished for this? Like, I told the truth, I did all the right things, I don't understand why I'm getting in trouble for this. And one of my friends told me, her name was Tiffany Easley, now she's Vincent, but she told me that consequences are never on your terms. And when you make a poor choice, it's your job to take the consequences and deal with them the way that they were given to you, because your job was to do the right thing in the first place, and you forfeit your freedom when you choose to do the wrong thing. And that kind of goes back to getting spankings, because back then when I was little and I would lie or I would choose to have a bad attitude, I know that I got a lot of spankings when I was little, but I don't remember a lot of them. One that was paramount that really, really stood out to me was right after Halloween. And if my brother ends up watching this, he could probably explain the story way better than me, because I remember my dad and I had different stories on this. His said it was candy. He said it was candy. I said it was a cupcake. But I remember asking for this sweet treat, and it wasn't dinner time yet. And I remember losing my mind and like kicking and screaming and, no, I want it now, I want it now. And my dad doing the whole, yeah, you tripping. And, you know, continues, he takes off his belt, and I got up and took off running. Sure, that wasn't my last spanking, but that's the only one that I really remember. It's the only one that like really stood out. But the thing that I remember from that form of discipline is, stupid behavior is painful. And I don't want to deal with the pain of my stupid behavior. And so as I got older, I realized that leads to that, and I don't want that, so I'm not going to do that. And so I stopped. The reason why I say that accountability is not something that comes naturally, because at that point in college, when Tiffany reminded me that consequences are not on your terms, I think what was going on before that a lot of young people deal with is, just because I've done something wrong doesn't mean that I have to be disciplined the way that you say so. And so you end up with a lot of young people who they want to come up with the terms on how they're disciplined, okay? I've actually had my own children who know that they're about to get what we call pow-pows. They know that they're about to get pow-pows, and they go, I'm only going to get one, right? And so I remind them that your choice was to make the right decision. That's not what you chose to do. So you get to deal with the consequences that I choose. Now, as I got older and my parents began to trust me with more, my parents began to trust my judgment a little bit better, then it turned into, we're going to give you consequences, but if you feel like these consequences are, as my dad would put it, the crime doesn't fit the punishment, then we can negotiate it. Like, we can talk about this, but understand that as the adult in this house, as the leaders in this part, we get to choose the final say. And it's like that everywhere. You know, if you go to a job and you can negotiate your pay, but at the end of the day, if you don't like how you're getting paid, you either suck it up and you get what you get paid, or you leave. And it's like that everywhere. And it seems as if that's not like a common thought. It seems as if people feel like they should get what they want, how they want it, the way that they want it, and that if they're not getting it the way that they want, then they'll just quit. You know, and that's not the way life works. It is really important that we learn that accountability is a necessary part of growth. Having someone, every single person, from really small children all the way up to, dare I say it, to the President of the United States, to our pastors, every single person should have someone in their life who, what I call, can pull your card, can tell you you're wrong. That's not okay. You need to have somebody in your life that can pull you aside and tell you that you're out of line and you're doing it wrong, and that you respect them enough, but that you're also smart enough to realize, I need to change. That's what it means to have someone to hold you accountable. It means that you understand that you don't have all the answers. You don't always know what you're doing. And it's super important that you have people like that in your life. It's important that everybody has that in their life, But as a parent, it is super important that we teach our kids to be accountable to us. Because if we show them the power and the importance of looking at us and saying, Mom, see that fly? Tried to get me. If our kids can look at us and see that we have their best interests at heart when we tell them you're doing that wrong, that we give them proper, healthy consequences when they do something wrong, and that we lead them back to a place of put them back into their place in their family, put them back in their place of God, put them back in their place in their community. It's super important that we're able to do that for our kids. If you are living a life right now that there's no one in your life, go back a little. There's so many people who say, like, I don't care what other people think. You know, it doesn't matter to me what other people say, or I'm my own person. I'm my own man. I do what I want when I want. I'm the ruler of my own destiny and life and blah, 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 blah. There's so many people that are walking that path that you can't tell them anything. And the Bible talks about those type of people. The Bible talks about those type of people who can't be told anything. The Bible calls them stupid. It does. The Bible says that they're foolish. And it's really important that you don't think so highly of yourself, that you don't think that you are so smart that you don't need someone to tell you when you're wrong. You need someone to tell you when you're wrong. And if you are in a place in your life right now where people can't tell you that you're doing something wrong because you know so much, you're in big trouble, my friend. And if you have kids, little kids in your life that you are negotiating consequences with, your child is in trouble. Okay? If you and your child, little kids, I'm talking about like 14 and under. If you have a person in your house that tells you that they're going to eat this or they're not going to eat that, you're in trouble. If you have a little person in your house that will negotiate how the consequences are going to work out, yet they can't brush their teeth properly, you know, like, there has to be a place in that person's judgment. You have to be able to see if this person can make life decisions for themselves before you can negotiate consequences with them. If you're not doing that, if you're falling into these categories, can I encourage you to find someone to hold you accountable? It is really important to me that Lisette texts me in the morning and tells me, or the night before, and says, I'm going to pick you up to go to the gym tomorrow. Because if Lisette doesn't text me, I'm not going to go to the gym. I don't want to go. I don't want to. So it's important for Lisette to text me or call me and say, hey girl, we're going to the gym in the morning, right? Cool. Vice versa, I have to do it to her too. But that's necessary for people to do that. It's important for my friend Lisa to ask me, how is your marriage going? That's important to me because I need someone to get into my business and hold me accountable to make sure that I'm not talking stupid to my husband, because I'm going to call that same friend, like, where was, when it hits the fan and things are going crazy with me and my husband, and then we're in divorce court, all of a sudden those friends are going to be like, dang, what happened? I'll be like, hey, nobody asked. Okay. It's super important that we get in each other's business, but it's super important that you allow people to get in your business. Don't act like you got this all figured out. There's some of you, I'm not, you know, you got to use wisdom. You can't let everybody in. You got to have some people that they're able to have a voice, and there's some people who just clearly don't get to have a voice, okay? Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, but I just wanted to just throw that out there, that accountability does not come natural to everyone. You just, you know, young people, we just don't think that we need to be held accountable. So it's super important, moms, dads, pastors, grandparents, it's super important that you take the initiative to hold people accountable and make sure, especially your kids, especially those people in your life, it's super important that we're holding them accountable for their actions. If they say they're going to be somewhere and they're not, it's important that we hold them accountable. Let's teach men and women to be men and women of our word. Amen. God bless you guys. Remember, Facebook me for earrings, necklaces, eyeglasses. If this video was helpful to you, please like it and share it, and please put a comment. I love you guys, and thank you so much. Talk to you later.